Everyone, Glenn Sanford here, and welcome to the Expansion Podcast, where we talk about personal and professional development here at eXp Realty. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Michael Buslovich with the Boss Home Team. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Glenn. I'm so happy to be here. I'm honored to be here, actually.
Oh well, no, thank you for being here. It's an
Thank you
honor
for
to
having me.
be chatting here. So now. You've been you've been with EXP now for a couple since what 2017 I think or
No,
2020.
it's actually 2020, actually, right? I joined EXP. My anniversary date is July 1st of 2020.
Okay, so you're just over 2 years. So joined
That's
right
correct.
in the right at the peak of the pandemic.
Best
And
time.
yeah, and you're in just outside of Toronto, I think in Bradford.
That's correct. That's correct.
So I know that Canada was even more locked down than the U.S. So you were previously at Royal LePage. Did the pandemic play any role in you making a move to EXP, or was it just a move that was a natural progression in your career?
Well, Glenn, you know what? I was actually looking to transition. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And, I felt that there were better choices out there and better opportunities. Somebody had presented EXP to me, and I watched the model first time. I said, I don't know if I'm ready yet, because I'm the type of person I'm very loyal if I commit to something. But somebody presented to me again the model, and I said, you know what? This just sounds really, really good. And you know what? I'm going to make it work. And here we are. We're going into 2.5 years almost.
Yeah, cool. And you've been two-time icon.
Yes,
So
sir.
you've been
That's correct.
and how has business been? Well, you got licensed not too long ago, 2017. So what's that? 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's correct. I was doing it part-time. I did have another business. 2020 is actually one of the turning points in my career. Besides, coming into EXP, I also went into real estate full-time. The pandemic, I used to have a car service, a limo service, and the pandemic really affected that. And in a way, it was a blessing, to be honest, because it allowed me to pursue real estate on a full-time level, and the rest is history, and we're here today. So I'm happy that in a way, the pandemic affected a lot of people in a negative, but at the same time, it allowed me to really focus on my real estate career.
Now you've written a book. I think it's called "Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss." What is that book all about? And
It just I just I wanted to create something for my sellers, especially when you meet people that don't know you, and to help them and guide them in the process of selling their home. So I created a small book. There's an ebook as well as a hard copy where I educate them on the different types or different ways of selling their home, obviously to generate a higher return. Obviously on their once we sell it, essentially.
okay, awesome. And
Yeah.
did you write that from scratch, or did you was it
No,
a white label or?
yeah, I had a company help me with that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So now, is there a strategy that you've noticed has been the most consistent for most agents? What's been sort of the successful strategy for selling or listing that you found?
Well, I mean, essentially, especially if you're new to the industry, nobody really knows that you exist. I think my whole thing was social media marketing. I learned to focus on becoming a marketer. So I was able to attract, my future clients essentially, and then from there I was able to convert the leads, obviously, and then we're here, and I was building up the volume and obviously the relationships with my clients.
Awesome. So, well, and that brings me to an interesting question. Which do you think is more important, being a good salesperson or being a good marketer?
I think you need both. I think marketing is huge. If we were to put on a scale, like I would say, marketing is probably a good 75%.
Right. So 75% marketing, 25% sales. And so when you think about marketing, then you mentioned internet or social. What's been your primary strategies then for generating leads?
Well, I looked at, different markets. I said, where can I reach my target market effectively? I felt Facebook was the perfect tool. It allowed me to connect to people. They can check my profile out. I can check their profile out. And I was able to capture a lot of leads through marketplace, through squeeze pages, that we've created through our KV core system. And then I kind of work with the markets. So in 2020, for example, everybody wanted to get out of Toronto because we're on lockdown. There's nowhere, so everybody wanted to go north. So I focused primarily all my business on stuff north of the city. I mean, there
Right.
was like an hour north, 2 hours north. So that was within 2020, a bulk of my business was north of the city. People wanted to buy a cottage, wanted to buy a home out because people were working from home. So they could
Hmm.
really work remotely anywhere. So that's where I channeled all of my energy, and that's where most of my volume, especially in 2020, came from.
Okay. And awesome. And so another another question, but I'll remember it here, I'm sure, in a bit.
Hmm.
So now, so what do you use? KV Core squeeze pages. So that sounded like that's something that you've been spending a bit of time on. Do you have a lot of squeeze pages? Is there?
I
Do
mean,
you,
I used to do more. Again, I kind of change with the market. I think they're effective. Like I'll do
Mhm.
some squeeze pages. I'll boost every time I have a new listing. I boost my listing.
Mhm.
Again, off our KV core system that comes with EXP, being an agent with EXP, which is fantastic. And then I'll do marketplace. I try like, 3 or 4 different ways of capturing, my target market. And then, working on the conversion, getting them on a call. I like to get people on a phone.
Okay, awesome. Now, is KV Core your only CRM, or is it?
KV core is my only CRM.
Okay,
That's correct.
excellent. So how do you organize? Are you using in the on the KV Core? I know we've got a lot of agents, some that are using other platforms, but you obviously have got developed success in KV Core. So are there some things from an organizational or use perspective that you find to be really effective for KV Core?
Well, I like the fact that once let's say they go on your squeeze page, they land on your website. It does, the bot kind of goes through the process. Hey, is this Glenn? Hey, where are you looking? Is this your phone number? So it kind of it does a lot of the screening for you to create that hot lead possibly, and then what I do is I create alerts for them. So let's say they're looking for a certain property, then I'll tweak it a little bit so it's more tailor fitted to that particular buyer or seller, or primarily buyer's needs. And then I'll follow up with them. So, but I like it. It keeps me. It also, it allows me to uh, be more organized because it gives me alerts. I have the KV Core app on my phone, so I'm able to communicate with clients right off my cell phone as opposed to going to my laptop. So I don't have to be in the office to be able to communicate with them effectively or you know in real time, I should say.
Right. Now do
Yeah.
you have do you have a team, or are you a solo agent?
Well, I mean, I started the Boss Home team originally. I do have some agents that are working with me. We're not an official team per se, but they are. I do provide leads for my agents that have joined me, and then we work them because I do a lot of mentoring as well. So I help them through the process, and then we obviously do a split between us.
Okay. So and when you think about helping your team, does your whole team work remote, or do you work out of an office setup?
No, right now we're working remotely because everybody's kind of scattered all through the cities. Because but we do have where we meet up once a week or a couple times a month, depending on obviously the scheduling. But I try to do it like every week or every other week that we'll meet up at a location, and then we'll go through stuff. But a lot of Zoom, a lot of video
Right.
calls, and a lot of Zooms. To be honest, Glenn.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. Um,
yeah.
So now, what if you were to give a one piece of advice to an agent, maybe that's been in the business, 3 or 4 years? What would it be? I mean, it could be an EXP agent, could be somebody else. But what would be your thoughts on how to take their business to the next level? Maybe they're doing 6 to 8 transactions a year, and they want to do 30, 40 transactions a year. What would be
Yeah.
some
I,
ideas that you
I,
can?
I, I think persistence is very important. I mean, you got to keep at it. It's like showing up every day. You show up at the gym daily. 6 months from now, you see results. It's the same thing with real estate, and also understanding what platform works for your market. So, I look at the stats as well, depending on, let's say I run a campaign and I'll just see how many click throughs and so forth. So I'll look at it and see, well, this ad is working or this ad may not be working, and I'll adjust it accordingly. Then you have to be consistent. So what I do is generally I do 3 ads a week. Okay.
Right.
Because then people start to recognize you. So especially if you're farming a certain area, they start to see you consistently, and then they'll say, "Hey, I remember you," or "Hey, yeah, I've seen your ad," or "Oh, I reached out to you before," and that creates that credibility and allows to open up the door for conversation, and hopefully, we'll be able to retain them as a client.
Oh, awesome. Now, these are, I'm guessing, you mentioned Facebook. Are these sponsored ads on Facebook? Is that
I do sponsored ad. I also do just marketplace ads. I will
okay?
take I will take listings and I'll put them on marketplace. And then what I do is my little hack, and I'm willing to share with all our EXP agents is I'm part of a lot of groups. So a lot of buy and sell groups, a lot of real estate groups for sale or off market or whatever. And then I'll post it through there. So besides marketplace, I'm also hitting a group that maybe has 100,000 members in it or 150,000 members in it. So now they're seeing it on their phones, on their feeds. So again, it allows you to be more visible in your markets.
Right. Now, how do you manage that? And I'm thinking specifically around there's probably some nuances of sharing it in a way that's tasteful and doesn't aggravate the admins of those groups versus spamming those groups. So how do you manage that process?
Well, I mean, a lot of groups have their kind of guidelines as to what you can post and what you can't.
Hmm.
So as long as it's not, my ads are very simple. They're not really, to the point. I put it in bullet points, like why you love this property, 4 reasons, 5 reasons. So it's easy, it's fast, it doesn't bother anyone in the sense I'm not really in their face.
Hmm.
But also, again, I follow the guidelines of the group. Essentially, if they have certain guidelines, then we have to follow them, or they will take you out of the group.
Right. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got kicked out of so many groups, and
I
as
have to. I have to. I mean, I've got kicked out of some groups, but again, it depends on what you're selling, right? I'm not, pushing anyone. It's just an ad. It's a simple ad. Hey, I've got this beautiful home in, wherever it is in Toronto. Why 5 reasons you'll love it, and then they're kind of like in bullet points. I put little, like little flames, hot new listing or whatever, and it just allows me to engage with my community, and then especially people, in where I live in surrounding areas. It's just like, oh, he's got another listing. He's a very active agent. Maybe I should reach out, or if I do reach out to them, like, okay, well, I've seen your ad. So again, it just opens more doors. But to answer your question, you got to follow the
right,
of
right,
the group.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely, Glenn.
For sure. Well, and I think it's something worth going over mainly because agents they just have to understand when they start doing this. And by the way, I believe in the concept that anything worth doing is worth doing badly at first. So just get out there and
Absolutely.
make a mess and learn. But to the extent that we can help people, not get banned their first time out, I think is helpful as well.
It's like, well, you said it right. I mean, it's like kind of trial and error. Like you see what works, what doesn't work, who's going to allow you to do it, who's not going to allow you to do it, and then you kind of find your place, and then
Hmm.
you use those groups as a platform, and then you just kind of like work within those marketplace groups, and that's how I've been building my business. And I show up. Like I'll go to my listings, I'll meet people, I'll do stuff. It's just I'm very interactive with my clients or future clients that like I'm there. They can't
Right.
say I don't show up. I'm
There you
always
go.
there.
So,
Yeah.
cool. Now, do you manage any of your own groups?
I had a group. For Florida stuff because I was also doing stuff outside of Ontario or outside of Canada. I did have a Florida group. We were starting that again, but we will be working on selling stuff in the U.S. as well.
Okay,
Um, okay, but no, I haven't. I don't have my own groups per se. I do have my own page.
right,
My business page, obviously, but I've been working off their groups because they already have such a large following.
right. And when you do a lot of your sponsored ads, that's being done from your business page because I don't, that's
It's
where you
all
have to
being
go
done
from.
from my business page. Yeah, so that's correct. So it's all being done through my business page. That's correct.
Okay, awesome. So what are you excited about? Putting into your business maybe going forward. Are there any new things you're going to add in there that you're going? I'm really excited about trying this, or you're starting to get some traction around anything new that you're doing?
No, we're just, I've kind of restructured the business as the market here in Ontario has slowed down with the
I've,
interest rates and everything else. So
I've heard
we're
it slow
just
down a lot. Like,
okay. Glad it's slowed down a lot. You're absolutely right. It has definitely, and if people are telling you that it hasn't, they're not telling you the truth. So again, it's like restructuring, rebuilding. So I'm adding a new admin support to the team. Just the way we're doing stuff. Our ads are different. We're looking at more like, some distressed properties or properties that have lowered their price because that's what people are looking for right now. They're looking for
right?
deals,
Yeah. No.
right?
And
So I'm not going to be, yeah, before it was the market was hot. And when the market is hot, everybody just wants to buy something. But in this case, we have to say, hey, this is a distressed property. This property, went down by 200,000. So, or we're going to send you a list of distressed properties. Um,
now I heard something. So that Toronto was like the only market in Canada that had never seen price reductions before, like that they had only been an up market. So this has got to be a completely new experience for home buyers and sellers in that market.
well, we had some adjustments. I mean, we had, 2016, 17, it was a crazy time here. 2018, everything kind of slowed down. And then we had like a 2-year window, and then COVID came and it just went crazy. Um, but yeah, if you look at statistically, our prices are just always going up and up. I mean, if you look at today's pricing compared to even pre-COVID, it's still more expensive than 2019 or
Right.
2020 pricing.
Right.
Even though we're super slow.
Yep. No, for sure. Well, Michael, thank you for taking time to share about your business and your experience. I'm looking forward to seeing you a little bit later this month
Thank you, Glenn. I'll be
in
there.
Toronto. Yep. And
You got it.
yeah, be sure everyone to check out Michael at the Boss Home Team. It's on Facebook. I think you can just search. Can you just search for the Boss Home Team
Yeah,
and
if you
you'll
put
pop
if
up?
you put Michael Buslovich, you'll find me.
Okay.
Easy to
Awesome.
find, or the Boss Home Team, you'll find it.
Excellent. Well, with that, I'm going to sign off till next time. Thanks everyone for checking out this episode.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye bye.